Ever feel like making friends is harder than parallel parking during rush hour? You're not alone. If you're shy and the thought of putting yourself out there makes you want to fake your own disappearance, here are some practical ways to make people notice you, or better yet, like you, even if you're basically a human ghost at social events. Number 1. Put yourself out there. Yes, you have to leave the couch. Step 1 to making people like you: be around actual people. Shocking, I know. No one's gonna like someone they literally don't know. Staying home all day is definitely gonna get you nowhere. So first up, you've got to start accepting invitations. If someone invites you to a gathering, say yes, even if it's just Karen's cat's birthday. Show up, grab a drink, pet the cat, and leave. This way, you're building momentum. Another thing to keep in mind is to start small. This is because a study from the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, which by the way was written by smart guys, believe me on this one guys, suggests that by gradually increasing your outings, you tend to become more comfortable in public. So it's just like you're exercising your shy muscles. Do big parties feel overwhelming? Cool, skip concerts for now. Start with 2 people in a coffee shop. You're not filming a Netflix special, you're just saying, hey, nice weather. If you go on enough coffee trips, maybe soon you'll be screaming at the top of your lungs in Coachella. And to you, who's watching this video, real life isn't social media. In the real world, there's no friend request button. Sad, right? Well, I'm happy about that. You've got to understand that making connections takes time, effort, and occasionally pretending to care about Susan's stamp collection and not hiding behind a tiny screen. After all, Associate Professor Jeffrey Hall, who led a study by the University of Kansas, says you need 50 hours of time spent together to turn an acquaintance to a casual friend, 90 hours to become friends, and more than 200 hours to become besties. By getting people to like you is not about being everyone's bestie. It's about finding your own people. So, understand that some interactions will be amazing. Others will feel like you're talking to a lamp. Both are generally fine, but if someone is walking all over you, you have to push back. This means... Number 2, become more assertive. Stop becoming everyone's doormat. Look, being shy doesn't mean you have to let Karen steal your lunch every week. Okay, it's come to my attention that I seem to be using Karen a lot, so we'll go with Jake this time. So let's take that again. Being shy doesn't mean you have to let Jake steal your lunch every week. You've got to be assertive because assertiveness is your secret weapon. Don't know how to? Trust me, it's easier than you think. Here's my tips on being assertive. You've got to speak up, but please make it polite. We can't go about hurting people's feelings or starting a fight, so if someone's cutting in line, say, "Excuse me, I believe I was next." Boom, confidence points. Next step is to always let them know your preferences. Don't like pineapples on pizza? Say it. Do you love cartoons or anime? Say it. People respect opinions, even controversial ones. So even if you're a pineapple pizza lover, or you believe One Piece is the GOAT anime, still say it because it's your opinion. While they might silently judge you, the good news is that controversial takes tend to start conversations, so you win either way. Another important tip is learning to use your body language like a pro. A University of California shows that keeping your arms uncrossed while smiling and holding eye contact for a few seconds make you look approachable to strangers or acquaintances, but if you do that too long, then you'll probably be labeled a weirdo. So, instead of looking like Batman when he prowls Gotham, do that instead. And understand that being assertive doesn't mean being pushy. It just shows you're a person with opinions, not a human doormat. People tend to want to hear other people's opinions on topics, and that's why they'll love to know more about you. So, the next step is... Number 3, learn to tell stories because people love a good tale. Ever feel like everyone else has amazing stories while you're over here like, I ate cereal this morning? Way to go, genius! Telling stories is a skill that anyone can totally learn. And yes, even you can too. So, if you want to tell great stories, you've got to structure your stories. Start with some background, where you were, what happened. Then add the juicy part, conflict, or maybe a funny twist, and always finish strong, with a resolution. And no, it doesn't have to be epic, like when your dog chewed up your new shoes on your first day of work, or when your cat peed on your brand new shirt that you just bought. And if you want to be cute, here's my go-to tale during hangouts. I remember when I was hiking, got lost and a dog led me back to the trail. Yeah, not very convincing, but it's a 10 on 10 experience and always does the trick. And the most important thing to keep in mind when telling your story is, keep it relatable. And we all know Dr. Paul Zak, right? Well, apparently he found out that storytelling triggers the release of oxytocin, a neurochemical that causes people to trust. So, unless someone asks about your advanced quantum mechanics project, skip the jargon, focus on emotions, confusion, excitement, laughter. People connect with feelings more than facts. Like a smart guy once said, stories sell, facts tell. But remember, storytelling isn't just about talking, it's also about knowing when to pause and listen. A great story becomes an awkward one if it drags on for too long. So, my next tip is, number 4, be a good listener. It's like a cheat code for friendships. Here is a secret. People love talking about themselves. Want to make them like you? Let them do it. So while they're talking about themselves, all you've got to do is actually listen. Easy, right? But while listening, don't just wait for your turn to speak. Nod, smile, and respond with things like, "That's so cool," or "No way, really?" Boom. Instant connection. But if there's one thing I know shy people do best in a group conversation, it's becoming invisible. So although you probably hate it, you've got to draw a little bit of attention to yourself. So remember to always ask questions. Don't know what to ask? Go for open-ended ones like, "What's the best trip you've ever taken?" Or "What's your favorite show?" This gets them talking and makes you seem super interested, even if you're still thinking about pineapple pizza. Just don't go overboard with questions, otherwise you'll be labeled annoying, and that's something we definitely don't want. And lastly, always perform small acts of kindness. Compliments go a long way. Saying, "That's a great jacket," or "Wow, your playlist is fire," actually goes a long way. They'll remember how good you made them feel. And don't just take my word for it, as a study published by the University of Minnesota states that when people actively listen while doing all these actions, they form a deep connection with others. As you see, we have really done our research today. So, you don't have to be Einstein to know it's true, because when you genuinely listen, people will automatically think you're interesting, even if you barely say anything. Magic, right? But the real magic is for you to have, number 5, have a sense of humor, because everyone loves a good laugh. So here's the thing, humor breaks the ice faster than a sledgehammer. And guess what? Shy people often have the best sense of humor. It's just a matter of sharing it. You know I'm right, we've got a million jokes in our head. Dad jokes, dark jokes, inside jokes, even lame jokes, you name it. So if you want to make friends and actually get people to like you, lose that serious face and be ready to be the butt of the jokes. And yet another fact for all you fact lovers, as even Stanford University made a research on how humor affects social relationships and reduces tension and interactions. Guess what they found? Well, they found that making jokes can break down barriers between strangers, making it easier to connect and form friendships. So, next time you trip over nothing, laugh it off with a "Wow, the air is really aggressive today." People love someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously. And no, I'm not asking you to become a Dave Chappelle or Pete Davidson and definitely that uncle that tells the lamest jokes on Thanksgiving. A quick quip about the weather or a goofy observation about life, "Why does every Tupperware lid disappear?" is enough. So, what if you're not sure your humor lands? Start with small jokes and gauge the reaction. If they laugh, great. If you hear the sound of cricket chirping, at least you tried. Don't beat yourself up. It's just the wrong joke for the right crowd, or maybe your dad jokes are the wrong jokes for every crowd. Just saying. But remember, laughter is a universal language. So if you can make someone chuckle, you're probably halfway to making a new friend. Literally. Number 6. Follow up. Don't let new connections fade. So you finally hit it off with someone. Congrats. Now don't let that connection go stale like a loaf of bread on the counter just because you don't know what to say. So here's what you do after you connect with someone. After meeting someone, shoot them a text like, "Hey, it was great talking to you. Let's grab coffee sometime." Easy, right? Doesn't have to be a huge event. A casual "want to grab lunch" or "I'm going to this trivia night, wanna come?" works wonders. If that works, always be consistent. Building friendships takes effort, so if you show that you care, people will naturally gravitate toward you. Always be consistent, but don't turn into a stalker. So understand that making people like you isn't about being the loudest person in the room or throwing yourself into the deep end of social life. It's about small, meaningful actions that build connections over time, like sharing your stories, laughing at yourself, laughing with others, and about life in general. Because let's be real, the world needs more shy but awesome people like you. Now, go out there and make some friends, or at least make Jake stop stealing your lunch. So start with one of these tips today, text someone, tell a funny story, or show up to that event you've been avoiding. You've got this.